These crystals are getting opened, and there are some people that are confused about it. Hello and welcome to the weekend. It's time to look over a topic, look at what the community is saying on stuff, whether they like it, they don't, and hear from Kabam as well at the same time. Also talking about the potential of compensation. The compensation, or mentioning that word, is referenced as a joke because there's a little bit of a funny element to it. So let's go into what the topic is about. This right here, dare you see this? Let me just zoom in for you. Outdated crystal cleanups. Yeah, these are being opened. On Thursday, we got a message in game saying that they would be opened up. Or did we get a message in game? I can't remember. Maybe it was kind of like they didn't message in game about those crystals. Actually, no, they didn't. That's surprising, isn't it? I thought there would be something in game. You can see here, there's nothing in game unless it's in the update section. No, okay. It was something that Kabam put out. Should they have put that? I mean, not everybody goes to Discord, goes to what is it, like the forums or even YouTube videos. Like, you know, how you ingest information, news and stuff from when it comes to the community and got Kabam putting out. Look, it's up to you. But Kabam aren't going to put everything out. So if you are holding up some of these crystals, then, well, surprisingly, they're going to be open. Here are some of the crystals listed here. I'm not going to read them all out because it's very extensive. There are also some stuff that factors into some previous events. Some people have got logging crystal. Who's got a logging crystal? They're ancient. There's themed ones there. I think even there was like a dimension. Was it like a dimensional one? I mean, it's a War Challenger crystal. That's old. A War Victor crystal, that's old. That was amalgamated into events and how Kabam kind of rolled some stuff out. And what else is there? There's featured 6-star hero crystal. Okay. And is there anything else? Yeah, dimensional crystal. Tier 1 dimensional crystal. I think there was like tier 4 at some stage or something like that. Maybe there under them. Branded crystal. It goes on. It goes on and on and on and on. God. What the heck? No wonder Kabam didn't put this in an in-game L. If Kabam put this in an in-game L, I think it'd probably break the game. Wow. Okay. How many crystals are there actually? Do you know what? I'm going to do the test. I'm going to find out how many crystals are actually being opened. Like, what kind of like load is this on Kabam's servers? It's probably not the most kind of like economical way or kind of right way to do this, but if I just copy and paste it into Excel, then you can see that it's 256. So there's 256 individual crystals that are being opened. You might have some of these, and I'd likely say, what's the point if you're holding on to them? However, a lot of these crystals are probably people's accounts that haven't access their accounts in a long time. So therefore, because they haven't come back to the game, that's probably the reason they've held on to some of these crystals. But there are definitely players out there that are holding some kind of special relationship with them. Not like Brian Grant. Like Brian did it as like as a theme. It was like, you know, an important factor. Like maybe people are going, I really want to keep my permafrost crystal. Not that any of these crystals have any kind of like special type of creation to them like the egg was. The eggs are different. It's like a big exception because it's a themed egg. It's like an egg. It's an egg. So it had meaning to it rather than just saying, oh, I'm going to hold on to my 3-star Genesis or Crystal Corn Dog. What the heck is a Crystal Corn Dog? I mean, a Google search isn't even throwing it up. So we'll just go. Yeah, it's gone. Like that's it. Like it's going to be all these are going to be going. Reasons for this, you know, over the next few weeks, outdated crystals in your inventory automatically opened upon logging in. Blah 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 blah. You will not get specific pop-up and list items awarded. We recommend opening these crystals yourself to avoid confusion. We understand that some summons keep a collection of crystals for various reasons and apologise for any inconvenience from this triggered opening. Everyone's triggered. But we assure you that in action being performed to improve server performance. Yeah, Tough, isn't it? Like, I can see the significance of people having an attachment to a crystal. Although some of those crystals do look non-unique. They're not unique. They're just kind of like copy-paste with a different color palette and maybe something running different through it. It's not like the skull ones. It's not like the egg ones. It's not like... But, you know, who am I to judge people on reasons? Are people hoarding them for a reason like ISO? Because I tell you what, ISO's definitely evolved further from these. You get a lot more ISO from opening up more spicier crystals than some of the lower ones. So, anyway... there was, and this is why we've kind of got like a bit of a part 2 to this, and why we're kind of covering this, is that, well, let's find out from the community why they're holding back some of these crystals. So, Toxic Cupcake, okay, says Kabam's going to open all these crystals, arguing that this is should unload the server of the game. What? I think it's a hoax. All our accumulated crystals with 4 Catalyst Awakening of 2 and 3 star characters are much more that will be simply burn up the inventory without being spent for its intended purpose. Hang on. What do they mean? Usually when you overload your inventory, it goes into something called the stash. And then after that particular point, you have to make a decision about it. This is probably where the only thing I would say there's an exception to this, in that you'll have to make decisions if it's some of those awakening crystals or items and stuff like that. Yeah, okay, that sucks. Get it. However, the resources are better, so that it would be difficult to obtain or repay for resources that could be spent on higher rank catalysts. I don't think there's any, like, you have to look at it from a perspective of, if you have a stock room, you know, for the people out there that work, and a lot of you do work, or let's go with work, you might have in your workplace something called a stock room, right? In the stock room you might have like stationery and other stuff. You don't like chuck a load of random stuff or a load of stationery into your stock cupboard and go, I can't, I'm finding it difficult to close the door and open the door because we're not clearing the stock. The same way, if you overbuy for whatever you are, like a wholesalers, and you're like, well, we can't store any more stuff because the stock room's too full, then you can't store any further things elsewhere. Now, not a great example, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there's different overloading of things, and if Kabam's saying they're overloading it, then I suppose we have to trust Kabam. Not many people want to do that. Anyway, this is why some people are disgruntled about it. We'll kind of like... Okay. Really, what is useful purpose of saving all that junk? Why would it be a hoax? All those old junk crystals adding a burden. Of course, yeah. Here we go. It's good to see two sides of the argument and the case. I'm disgruntled about it. Well, for some of them anyway. The logging crystal for one, which I assume the daily insert rank crystal, and the ones you mentioned, going to have lots of useless potions, cats, and other things expiring. If they are going to do something like this, couldn't they have done a realm event or something? Crystal cleanse type. Hang on, we had a crystal kind of like event. Did that? Hang on, so we had a crystal event, and this just exposed something here. If people were held onto those crystals and could have just like opened them, without Kabam's intervention, we probably would have done better because people still held onto their crystals. That's a real kind of like revelation that's just kind of come up from this, isn't it? Why weren't all these opened? Why did people hold on to these and not help out the community if they had a ton of these crystals? Anyway, someone spent $250,000 on Banquet, and Prob's got a lot of Deadpool discount, Shed and Heartfire. I know I spent on those anyway. Will it even make the game run better? Maybe not. Maybe, but people keep crystals for a reason. If you have the sigil, then you can trade some things, but that's... I don't know where we're going with this kind of counter argument here. Not best pleased about after some of these were to prepare for a rainy day. The rainy day, wasn't that the crystal opening event? Anyway, right after they gave us ways to acquire T1 Dust, as well as, which was a good thing they did. Look, there's the other side of things. If it was a different type of, like, what was it? If it was like the free crystal where you had resources that you could use, like revives, health potions, different story. But this is, yeah, it's not great. It's so weird. Yeah, it's really odd, isn't it? Like, the more that you think about it, and again, the more you think about it, the extent of those crystals being opened for that kind of realm event with the crystal cleanse, whatever it is, like to then kind of go, okay, well, players still sat on them and didn't open them. They could have been managing their stash over. Look at that. That's another element of this. If we had that crystal realm event, people had that for a month. If you opened up your crystals, you could have managed what was happening over the course of a month in your stash, and therefore an inventory, and made decisions over a month. Now, you're going to have to be forced to do that. But if people were saving it for a rainy day or sentimental reasons, then it's different. I thought a lot of people were holding it for sentimental reasons, but there you go. Of course, this player says this is not panic, but dissatisfaction with the fact that this subscription will not help the servers in any way, and why the developers want to take away from the crystals from people in this case is not clear. Well, okay, no one understand me here because no one cares. Some disagree in their reactions. I also would like to say is, you know, a computer. A lot of you have computers, right? Or phones. You have a phone, don't you? You play this game on a phone or a PC. You've got these things called files. Very new thing, only just been discovered. And you've got something called memory and space. Now, what happens when you kind of like have too many files? Nothing. That's right, nothing happens. Now, all sarcasm aside, you need to sort them out. So you might delete old photos, upload them to the cloud, and could people say, oh, Kabam, just upload the extra files space to the cloud? Or kind of like, just allow. I mean, I don't see personally a bit of problem with it. I understand people have a difference of opinion. That's great. That's life. Having a difference of opinion, freedom of speech, whatever. That's up to you, right? And yeah, like, would you? If you trust Kabam, you don't trust Kabam, again, it's up to you. But every little helps with MCOC and Kabam and kind of giving them more space. If you want to go and check it out, and Kabam, and I love this from Karate Mike. Will they give us compensation for it? It seems quite unfair to mess with our profiles without compensation. The compensation includes all of the crystals contents. Yes, there we go. There's it. I don't know. Like I see it as like, I feel like, yeah, just kind of like, get them open, improve the servers. Any little bit helps as much as possible. And those crystals are so old. 256 different ones. Yeah, it's just about cleaning it up. But yeah, I'm far too lazy to cross-reference the list against the random crystals I have hoarded. 20k plus, 110 shards. Yeah, so I don't know. Could Kabam help out those? What is it called? The extent of things. And no, it's not to get Brian Grant out of retirement. Although it'd be surprising if he did randomly appear. Take it as you will, but it's just, I see about alleviating space, being more efficient. But this again is like, we're seeing another stem to this problem. I don't want to get too triggered myself by this, but if you had, so this is sort of about somebody going like, oh, I wanted to get 100k crystals. Well, I hope you achieve that, but at the same time, that 99k crystals you could have opened would have been very good for that realm event. And Kabam, of course, saw like a lot of people with the opportunity to open them, and of course, people didn't. Each to their own. What's everyone's thoughts on this? Put it in the comments. We'll leave you on that. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.